Hello everyone, and welcome back to Embody the ROAR Tarot. I am very excited to be doing a pick a card reading. I originally wanted to do something for the full moon in Virgo. I feel as though this energy that we've released and felt is very life-altering. You know, I feel like the full moon coupled with Mercury in Pisces, which is emotional, right? And then we have this full moon in Virgo, which is very tactical. There might have been some tension. I think that's the way that I would put it. For some folks I know and some of the clients that I've worked with, they felt a little irritated. There was some hurt feelings, and even myself, I had a bit of a doozy of a past 24 or so hours. And we get to experience this full moon release to help us understand what needs to be let go of. And so I think, you know, this emotional cleansing process that we do every month is really, really helpful if we can be more intentional about it. And oftentimes I find that this helps me not feel as though I'm reacting to life or life is taking me for a wild ride, but as though I'm, you know, far more in tune and in alignment. And so it's radically accepting that we have these periods, but they're meant to help us grow. So I want to really help us do that. And so today I'm going to do another pick a card reading, and I'll share with you the stones that I have as well as the decks. So I have this beautiful jasper right here, and I love it because it has reds, it has greens, it's really vibrant and beautiful. And so definitely take a look at this stone. Let me know if it resonates with you. And then we have the Transient Light Tarot. I really, really love this deck. I find that it's a lot more intuitive. It doesn't use a lot of symbolism, but what it does is really powerful. And so it's kind of more of a shadow deck. So it's a deck that helps me to kind of apply the images myself, if that makes sense. The symbolism is really poignant. So if that and the red jasper appeals to you, go ahead and choose that deck. So that's deck number 1. Deck number 2, we have beautiful smoky quartz. So you can see that there. So this smoky quartz, I really love it. You know, sometimes we need to see amidst the fog and amidst the smoke, right? What's left behind. And I love this because I chose this in alignment with this Ancestral Path Tarot. I really found this to be super helpful. I have an Indigenous background, and so it helps me to kind of recognize that there are people that came before me, whose stuff I'm still feeling, and I get to use them as guides and as advisors as I go through life. So I usually tune into that stuff, the legacy journey in the Ancestral Path Tarot. And then this one was kind of a wild card of today. So, you know, I have this beautiful agate. Look at how gorgeous. I've been using this as a palm stone. It's one of my favorites. Very calming, very aligning. Even though, as you can see, it's kind of multi-speckled. And I love this deck, the new Tarot of the New Vision. And I've actually taught with this deck before. So it's another one that is a beautiful reinterpretation of traditional tarot, but in a way that uses a lot of the similar symbolism. So I really enjoyed that. So I will let you take a moment to consider each of these decks. We have deck number 1, Transient Light Tarot, deck number 2, Ancestral Path, and deck number 3, Tarot of the New Vision. So feel free to choose the stone and or the deck that align most with you, and then we will get started. All right, deck number 1. I just pulled your cards, I shuffled, I cleansed them, I cut them, and I just really wanted to align with your energy to see what's going on for you around this full moon in Virgo that has just hit us as of yesterday. And it was pretty exciting, I have to say, because it looks like you are on a path, way of creating a great deal and of cultivating the harvest, so to speak. And so I'm going to speak to each of these cards along the journey, beginning with the first, which was more the past. And so as you can see here, what a beautiful card with the Magician. So the Magician, it's all about tapping into your energy, to your creative power, to what connects you to the cosmos. Like, you know, I always say to anybody that's like, I don't know about astrology or any of this stuff, I say, well, we're literally made from stardust. So Excuse me if I'm just doing my due diligence and figuring out what that means, right? And so the reason I say this is because this is really you tuning into your godlike energy, to your creative force. And this can be in any way, right? This can be through healing. This could be through, tuning into what makes you happy, to purpose. It could be a number of different things. But what's beautiful is that you're really utilizing all of your tools and all of your skills. So you have beautiful pentacle-like energy, you have earth energy, you have air, you have cups, and I just love this. So, really in the traditional tarot, this would showcase all of the different 4 elements, but it's doing so by way of crystals, by way of a feather to represent air, by way of a skull, I would assume in this position to represent cups, and then by way of a beautiful pendant to represent pentacles. And so you're able to tune into that creative life force, utilizing all of the skills that you have, all of your intuitive abilities, and in a way you're becoming more of a channel. And so when I say that, I just really mean that you're allowing life to flow through you, and that is going to elicit a great deal for you. So kudos to you. You've tapped into some knowing and some truth and some wisdom that is certainly going to help you along your journey. Now, then we have the 9 of coins. So this would, in traditional tarot, this is the 9 of pentacles. And so what's beautiful about pentacles, they look like money. And that's kind of how you're feeling, honey. You're probably feeling pretty abundant, or you're tapping into your capacity to have more. Many times, I think we want to be grateful for what we have, but I think it's also recognizing that we get to have more. We get to feel abundant. We get to feel deserving of all that it is that we desire and dream of. And so part of that is you tapping into that harvest that you've created through this journey into knowing, through this journey into channeling creative energy. You're actually able to cultivate a great harvest. And so this would also mark potentially the end of a cycle where you were working towards something. This could have been school. This could have been a new job. This could have been a relationship that really brings you joy. Really interpret it how you will. Pentacles, though, are tangible. So it would be some tangible, real thing in your environment that you have cultivated. Money is just an easy one for it, right? So really, congratulations on cultivating all of this abundance. And then you also have the Crown of Wands. Oh my gosh. So really, really abundant energy as well. Wands really associated with our passions, with our spirit, with our heart. It's things that we create. And so you have incredible creative energy because you've allowed things to flow through you. Many times we think that we need to get more skills, talents, things like that in order to be abundant, or in order to create I need to have that certification, right? No, a lot of this is just really tuning into what you can channel, what can come through you. We have so many entry points by way of what spirit can bring into our lives. And so you're finding ways to cultivate that harvest as well as utilize this passion, this energy towards creative endeavors. This could look, like I said, we've talked a lot about what abundance could look like, but this could look like you just tapping into that creative energy, you creating something from scratch. I would say this is entrepreneurial ventures. I would say that this is, you creating art and things to share with the world, but you're cultivating more energy. And so I really encourage you to figure out, how do I want to hone that? How do I want to commit to grounding that energy? Because it is an abundant time, and we get to have more, and we get to continue to invest in ourselves. And part of that work, with the Two of Wands is, again, starting to make something, for some reason with this, I'm seeing this, this loop of energy through the wands. I would say this might look like a partnership that forms. Partnership would generally be Two of Cups, but with this energy, I'm just feeling like you're binding together, you're bonding with other people, or you're aligning with certain value systems or beliefs or philosophies that really align. And you're starting to use this creative energy. You're starting to imagine what else is out there and start to look at opportunities. So I am really excited because it seems like there's a lot of abundance coming. We have you in the past with the Magician, the Nine of Coins, reaping that abundance, and then the Crown of Wands being creative, and at the bottom of the deck, the Two of Wands. I'm really excited to see what you create. If you want to comment in the in the video to just tell me how this landed with you. I would love that. I am also taking clients. I'm constantly doing readings. I love doing tarot readings for folks. I love doing astrology readings, as well as I'm an intuitive and a coach. So I encourage you, if you're interested in what you're hearing, definitely reach out, and I'd love to support you in a one-on-one capacity. All right, going off to deck number 2. All right, welcome deck number 2. Your gem associated with the reading is the Smoky Quartz, and the deck is the Ancestral Path Tarot. Now what I've done is I've cleansed the cards, I've cut them, I have shuffled them, and we're looking at the past, the present, and the future, as well as what was at the bottom of the deck. So with your reading, I'm sensing a lot of shifts and changes happening. You're coming essentially to a completion in your life of a cycle. And so you might have exerted a lot of energy, because we're starting off with the Prince of Swords. So this would be likened in tarot to the Knight of Swords. And as you can see here, this person is ready for battle. They are, going head fast towards something, and you can kind of see the birds in the background as though they're being kind of activated by what this person is doing in his suit. So really, this is about you rushing in a given direction and making some swift decisions and changes, because swords is associated with our mind, with decisions, with inspired ideas, with shifts and changes. And, this could look like moving. This could look like, having rapport with somebody, or sharing, or it could also be, again, lots of ideation, lots of mental thoughts that are driving you somehow, so that are activating some level of inspiration within you. And so if it was more of a 10 of Swords energy, I would say, oh, this is a lot of mental stimulation. But for right now, it looks like you're making some swift decisions and changes. Maybe you're making some difficult choices that you've been thinking about for a really long time, and now you're finally putting the pedal to the metal and getting things shifting. So, again, I encourage you with this energy, make sure that you rest, make sure that you find equilibrium and balance, because with lots of changes, oftentimes, we can not always be super present. So I just share that because I know it's hard to feel grounded when you're shifting or making choices or decisions. But, it could also feel like a whirlwind. And I think being able to take care of your needs is going to be really important. So sounding like a mom with that, but I had to share. Because then you have the Prince of Staves. So you have this Prince of Wands, which is really, really beautiful. So this is, again, night energy in the way of creating something with whatever decisions that you've made or whatever changes that you've made. You're tuning into your creative energy. You're tuning into your passions. You're tuning into action, because wands are all about taking action. As you can see here, this person's adorned with like a jaguar print. It's pretty phenomenal, I will say, this card, and then the bird, and it looks like there was some level of royalty. So I would say this is a time where you are tuning into that creative life force energy, and you're impassioned and emboldened. So yeah, definitely, I would encourage you, if you are, if you're feeling like you're spinning a million miles a minute, make sure that you're starting to journal and showcase yourself and be able to track all the changes that you're making, because it seems like a pretty stellar period with lots of movement. And then the reason why I said you're coming to a completion is because we have the World, which I really just love. It's kind of encased in blackness, right? And the only thing that we see is that from that perspective, right? We get to see the full picture of everything. And so that's kind of what's happening with these changes, with the ways in which you're exerting your energy. You're starting to gain new perspective on things. You're starting to cycle out of old behaviors, maybe fears, maybe traumas, maybe relationships, etc. You're starting to notice the lessons and come to some level of completion of a cycle where you learned a lot, which is why I'm encouraging you to write down the lessons, make sure that you're journaling. I really encourage you to document this period as actively as possible, because I find that, healing is like a swirl. Like, we see the same wound from different layers and different levels, right? So we want to continue to learn our lessons, adapt them, interpret them, and keep it moving, right? Which is what you've been doing. Then we have the Queen of Swords. So lots of thoughts going on, lots of potential boundaries being created. So this is kind of the energy of maybe you're starting to keep yourself more sacred. Maybe you're not allowing everyone access to you. Maybe you're starting to really develop more mental regulation, right? Able to really fine-tune the ways and the thoughts that you have and the ways in which you share your energy with other people. Because the Queen, as you can see here, she's kind of looking above everything in awareness of how she relates. She's feeling, and in her own sense, because it looks really awesome, like domineering in a way that allows her to feel into that sage wisdom. And sometimes it means stowing away and making decisions that align with our good and feelings grounded and secure and structured. All right. So I encourage you during this period to, like I said, find some balance, find some grounding. And it sounds like it's a really exciting period for you. You're learning a lot of lessons. I think with this full moon in Virgo, perhaps it's, allowing yourself to see that, all of the things that you've accomplished. For some reason, I've mentioned journaling a great deal. So I think definitely I encourage you to document your successes. And thanks so much for tuning in. I do one-on-one readings, and you can book directly through my site, which is on YouTube. I also do astrology readings, which is really my passion, as well as coaching. So definitely reach out. Let me know if this reading applied to you, and thank you so much for tuning in. All right, we're going to go to deck number 3 now. Hello, deck number 3. So your crystal is this beautiful jasper stone, and the deck I'm using is Tarot of New Vision. Now, I went ahead, cleansed, shuffled, and pulled these cards for you. So we're going to look at the past, the present, and the future, as well as energy that you might not be aware of at the bottom of the deck. So I really am enjoying how abundant this full moon in tarot is seeming for all of the decks and all of the readings for today, because you really are coming into a gift from the universe. I love this interpretation of the Ace of Cups, known as the Ace of Chalices in this deck. And this is all about a cup of love, a cup of creativity, a cup of intuition. You're getting a gift from the universe. It could be love. It could be more satisfaction and contentment. It could be more fulfillment. It could be, more self-love, but you're basically being given an extra dose. What I love about this is that it has, the cup is overflowing to show that you have more than you need, right? Which is beautiful, because you're likely in a place where you're meant to share that with others. But first, of course, with ourselves. So I am noticing that this is in the past, that you might have already experienced this. And so I encourage you to reflect on, what is this cup of love that you've been given, and what do you want to do with it? Who do you want to share that overflow with? Because you are, in this really wise sage period. The World card really shows that you've hit the end of some cycle, something where you potentially had to learn some lessons, or you cycled through, new learnings, new behaviors, maybe cycling out of something that was a little bit tough. So you're coming to a sense of completion. And from that space, you have more perspective and awareness around something. And this would be pretty pivotal. I find that cycles, it really depends on how quick cycles are, but I find for myself, it's anywhere from 10 months to a year of just figuring something out and gaining new perspective that will help me move forward. So that's the present energy that you have. So you should feel, a bit more in balance, or a bit more aware of the world around you and how you navigate that with wisdom. Now, you also then have this Queen of Pentacles. So I think all of this love, this wisdom that you've gained is allowing you to reap the benefits. This is one of the most abundant cards in the tarot deck, because Pentacles is associated with tangible resources. This could be money. This could be a home. This could be just feeling abundant. So this is coming in your future. And I think it has something to do with how you've utilized this overflow, how you've learned your lessons and aligned in wisdom. And now you're able to reap the benefits. It's almost like now you're getting to work. right? So, you know, I would encourage you during this period, really start to like feel yourself. I find that we don't always like appreciate how hard the lessons have been to learn. And I think that you've gone through a serious journey, and it might not have been easy all the time, but it has led you to where you are now. And I think life will have bumpy roads. We're going to have, you know, I heard something where it was like, life is like a wave. Sometimes you're at the top of it, other times you're at the bottom. But if you don't fight it, it'll always take you to shore, right? So I think you've kind of allowed yourself to align with the here and now, with the present. And in doing so, you're able to reap the benefits. And, you know, you're also, what you don't know at the bottom of the deck is this Queen of Wands energy. You have two queens here. That's pretty powerful. And then you have a major arcana. So with this Queen of Wands, wands are associated with our creative passions, our pursuits, our spirit. You are feeling abundant. This is energy I would really, really tap into. Now you might be like, no, Lisa, I'm having like, you know, a really good week. No, this is energy that you're going to want to create with. This is energy that you're going to want to share. And what's beautiful is you can see this like gorgeous like sunflower, and this woman is actually connecting with somebody and sharing her wealth and her love and her nurturance with others. So I have a feeling that you have been nurturing this love that you've been given, this gift from the universe. You're applying the lessons and you're reaping the benefits. And then here you are sharing your passions with other people. So it sounds like a really beautiful full moon in Virgo period. And I would just encourage you to really, really invest in and just taking a good look at yourself and all that you've accomplished. Really just continuing to feel ourselves, because I feel like sometimes we're proud of ourselves for a moment and then we go to the next thing. And because you've completed a cycle, you get to take a breath. You get to breathe, you get to enjoy, you get to celebrate. So I really encourage you to do that, deck number 3. And if you like what you're hearing, I do one-on-one readings, tarot, astrology. I also am a coach, and I'm taking on new clients. I'd love to meet with you and share some of my intuition and some gifts and talents with you. So you can find my information on my website. This ends our full moon in Virgo readings, and thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Again, my name is Elisa with Embody the ROAR, and I'm excited to share next week's reading with you. Thank you so much.